discussion yet? That's what this discussion on the planning models is for, is to take these pictures, and yeah, you don't know how all the commands work, right? But you know what they are a little bit. And so it's to kind of take this, and how would you break this down into smaller pieces? Okay, that's the idea. Is if you can figure out how to make this model right now without having Fusion open, and even if it's not perfect, but you know, like, okay, I'm gonna make a sketch here, I'm gonna create the shape, then I'm gonna sketch here and draw this, then I'm gonna do this. Then you can start planning it out, and then when you get to Fusion, you just follow your steps. You're not trying to figure it out as you go. Also means that if you go through and you're like, I'm gonna do this, like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this one, then I wanna make the hole, then I'm gonna draw this. It may or may not include this cut, depending on how you pick things. But if I do this first and then I just make the hole, like from here later, now it works, or whatever. And so you can, on paper, you can just like, oh no, I need to do this step first, or I forgot to do this. And you can easily change that around without actually having to go back in and try and change your model. And so that's why I have all these here. Some are more complicated than others. And I put the 3 examples of kind of how you can explain it, to see that, like, there's one option here that kind of has a little bit of detail, but not too much. It has some sizes, but like, you just make a slot, go there. And here it's just like, the basic steps. And then example 3 is like, all right, I'm going all in. I'm giving very detailed like sketches of what I'm doing on each step. So however you do it is up to you. But I want you to be able to at least do this. Like, I'm gonna do these steps to make this part. I'm gonna create a sketch here, I'm gonna be able to do this feature, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do a pattern, whatever. And they don't have to be perfect, but I wanna see what you guys come up with. And so I'm gonna change the due date for this one. I really wanted to have everyone submit it before class today so we can kind of go through, but I wanna give you time to work today. So we're gonna kind of stop this, but go through and look at the different options and kind of come up with what steps you do. Yeah.
I had a question on dimensions here. It doesn't indicate, how would I know if it's metric or?
Okay. Are those metric or inches? That's metric. So an easy way, if there's no decimal places, it's probably metric. Also, if the smallest number is bigger than 10, or most numbers are bigger than 10, probably metric. If the biggest number is less than 5 or less than 10, it's probably inches. So the big number is less than 10, and you got decimal places, probably inches, unless it's a very big part, right? Because what is 37 millimeters? How big is that in inches? No calculators allowed. Yeah, a little bit less than 1.5. How many millimeters are there per inch? Close. No, way off. 25.4. So if you round it just 25, so if it's 25, that's an inch. So like 67 is a little bit more than 2 inches. Or, no, a little more than 3, right? Or 2.5. 2.5. I can't math. Yeah, so like 55, so this is the diameter of about 2 inches. That's a diameter of 1 inch-ish, right? So 25.4, so less than 25, it's less than an inch. So that's an easy kind of units thing. Is if it's all whole numbers, probably metric. If it's got decimal places, it's probably inches. And I didn't include them on purpose. So they've got kind of different ones to go. And so, I want you to go through, most of these don't have run reply. Reply with your steps, but then also reply to each other. And then I want to be able to kind of do a short discussion of this on Wednesday. Okay? A few people. Like, I don't want to count.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, for these, reply, like, give your steps for at least one, but if you want to do all I don't know how many ever I added. Do it. More practice is better for you. If you want to do it, but you're not sure, don't be shy. I should make this an anonymous one, huh? I'm gonna do that. Can I do that now? I don't know if I can see. It's not even an option. Oh, can't do it in a graded anonymous. You know what? Oh, hold on. Let me do it now. No, I'm trying to make it anonymous so they can't see your name.
Oh, the icon is explaining it.
I know, but I just turned off grading. So maybe because I already had it graded that we can't. Just don't be shy.
Yeah.
You're all going through this together. You should be able to ask each other help on any of the things. Okay? Maybe next time I'll make it honest, but yeah. Don't worry about it, but post what you have, because then you can get feedback on it, and you can be like, I got this far, but I don't know. And then someone else will be like, hey, what about doing this? Okay? And so when you're giving feedback to each other, don't be like, that's a dumb way. You should do it this way. But if they are not following the guidelines, they're like, hey, why do you add 15 things on that sketch? Or did you think about doing it this way? Or something like that. Okay? This is kind of a way for you to see other people's thought process, and also to kind of validate that what you're thinking kind of works. And there are more than one option for these things. There's not just one correct answer. You can have it be done a few ways. So like on this one, I did it. Let's see. The sketch on the top, made the slot, boom. Sketch on the bottom, made a rectangle and extruded up from the bottom. I could have done it from the side and gone this way, or from the middle and gone out from the middle instead of going from the bottom up. I could have done it from the top up, but then I would have had to figure out that distance, right? So right here on this one, the step, to make this rectangle, I started on the bottom because the dimension to the bottom. But I could have done this piece first, right? And gone down, and then I could have gone up there. Or I could have made it, sketch on the midplane and drawn rectangle here and gone both that way. So lots of different ways to do it are all correct. And so just because you don't have the same way as someone else doesn't mean your way is wrong. And that's kind of, as long as you follow the guidelines, they're all correct. Yeah.
Right here, if you scroll down, you can see where it says reply before you actually hit it.
Yeah, don't click this reply.
Okay, that's why I was confused too.
Yeah, and you don't need to do this one because I already told you my answer. I was giving you kind of an example, but do it for these other ones. So the ones where I put my picture, then reply to those and give your steps for that model.
To the best of our knowledge.
Yeah. And if you get most of the way, or you're like, I can't figure out this piece. So like on this one,
Yeah, I could.
You're like, add gear teeth. Done. If you don't know how to do it, just or figure out I would do this to make those. Right? Because the way to do these would be different in different programs. So like in Inventor or Fusion, I'm probably gonna have to draw one of those teeth. All right. Or maybe I start with the spur gear command and make that first, and then I make the rest. I haven't told you about that yet, so you wouldn't know that. But in Inventor, I would draw all the rest of this, and I would just add a feature of gear teeth to it. And so, depending on the program, and actually in Inventor, I would use the shaft command to make that whole thing in one step. And then add the gear teeth and it'd be done. So it'd be a two-step process. I'd have two features on my timeline that'd be done. So, depending on, but kind of from now, from what you know now, what would be the steps you did? Because extrude, revolve. Even though you haven't used revolve, you know kind of what it does. It makes round shapes that have different angles or whatever. You know sweep, you know loft. Everything here though should be able to done with extrude and revolve, hole, stuff like that. There's no sweeps or lofts on any of this stuff. Okay. So I want you to go through that, and I've been